Today we're going to talk about the captivating yet dwindling tradition of the Japanese mixed bath. And there are three things you need to know. Number one, the Western disgust. The mystery of the crocodiles. Number three, porn in the mixed bath. So recently the number of mixed baths have been steadily decreasing, and we'll get to the reason. But first you need to know that the Western observers, the people who traveled Japan in the past, they found the konyoku to be disgusting, konyoku being the mixed bath. They even thought that the Japanese breed was the most depraved in the world. In fact, the sense of shame 100 years ago was very different from the Westerners and the Japanese. I even remember that a few years ago I interviewed a missionary, a Spanish missionary, and he told me that in the 50s and 60s you go in the countryside and the women, the Japanese women, when it was really hot in the summer, they would basically just hide their bottom part, but their upper part were completely naked, and that would cause no sense of shame at all. So what are these crocodiles? The crocodiles are middle-aged men. They're called here wani, which means crocodile. Well, you could maybe guess why they are called that. In fact, they usually travel by themselves. They go to this mixed bath and they stay there and mostly watch. And that is why they're called wani. They look very suspicious to the women who are in the mixed bath because most of them just stare at them. And this is in fact one of the most complaint received by the managers of this mixed bath. I interviewed many bath owners who told me that they had to devise barriers and walls to divide the mixed bath, so to protect the bathers, that is the women, from being watched all the time, because they all felt this uneasiness. I know it's a mixed bath, but you don't have to stare at me all the time. That was the thinking. And so today, many mixed baths adopted the same barriers, the same walls, they devise even schedules for women and men. So most of them are disappearing. So they're not disappearing in numbers, they're disappearing in the substance. So technically, they're no longer a mixed bath because you will have the women and the men separated by a wall or by a different time of bathing. And this is kind of sad if you only think that about 10 years ago, you would have this mixed bath, especially in the region of Tochigi Prefecture, where you would have even high school students go there and bath with the locals. It was normal. But then something weird started to happen. These people, they would come and sneak in from behind, from an opening outside the public mixed bath and record what was happening, record people while they were naked inside the bath. And when people realized this, of course, you can imagine a lot of the younger people, started not going there anymore. And now, if you go to many of these public baths, the public ones, the ones you're not supposed to pay for, well, you only meet basically lone, middle-aged, older men. So what is this? This is an onsen which is located north of Tokyo, which had a very scandalous, so to speak, past, because a whole crew of video makers, that is porn video makers, they used to go there and record porn movies in the open. It was mostly happening at night, of course, when people were not around, and they would actually have sex feast and sexual scenes, very explicit ones, right there. When you have the next day local people that would go and use it. So when the word got out, it was still during the time of the VHS, that you would have these little movies that would be rented. So nobody really started to notice until they got on the web. And that's where many people watched this, and people recognized that that was the local bath that was used as a porn scene. And that is why now, the last time I went there to visit and to talk to the locals, well, it was closed. And that was another nail in the coffin in the mixed bath culture here in Japan. If you would like to know more about mixed bath, or about Japan for that matter, you should check out my book, because it has tons of stories like this. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's totally free. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.